We're back with John DiLeo for Season 4, Episode 2 of Not Even Nominated.
Hey, Nick. Good
Hi,
to see
John.
you again. Yeah, we're talking about Not Even Nominated, my Oscars book, subtitled 40 Overlooked Co-Stars of Oscar-Winning Performances. And so the focus is on people who weren't nominated in films where somebody else did win an Oscar. But the person I focus on is sometimes better than the person who won, or at least as good. And right now we're going to talk about Chester Morris in The Divorcee from 1930. His co-star Norma Shearer won as Best Actress, and Morris wasn't even nominated. And this is a real two-hander. They're really equal roles. It's about a marriage. And it's what is known now as a pre-code movie. People love those pre-code movies of the first half of the 1930s because they're so racy. Before the production code was enforced, and that's when we got, twin beds for married couples and crime not paying, people getting away with stuff. And so in that period of 30 to mid 34, we see these films now and think, wow, what an adult approach to things like sex that then went away for many, many years. And so this falls beautifully into that category in terms of the sex that happens in the movie, the infidelity. It's a movie about infidelity and how a couple tries to survive it, and that the woman is equally sexually experimental as the husband once he starts. He has one philandering encounter and expects it to be forgiven, but she has a little trouble with that, and then they split and they both go off on their own adventures. But of course the point being that they really do love each other, and they have to find a way back.
Is it more to get even for her in the movie?
There is a part of that, yeah. That's certainly a part of it. But like I said, without that through line of the fact that they essentially belong together, it wouldn't matter. And she's very good in it. She won, as I said, as Best Actress, but I like him better in it. I think Chester Morris's acting is more natural. It holds up better, I think. It seems more modern. He was from Broadway, and one of those actors who really clicked with talkies. But and he's in a lot of he had a lot of big successes in the late 20s, early 30s. It's just he was overtaken by competition like Clark Gable, who's up there behind me right now.
I see him.
People like Clark Gable, and Morris wasn't really attached to a studio in the same way that some of those guys were. And so he was in B movies by the end of the decade. And then he had a successful B series as Boston Blackie throughout the 1940s. So he was still around, but he should have stayed on the A-list longer, I think. And like I said, I really enjoy him in this and another movie from that same year, The Big House, which is sort of the granddaddy of all the great prison movies. And again, I think his work looks modern, and I find him a striking presence, and I am kind of even surprised he didn't last longer as a major star. Morris just seems to be, living on the screen in a much more, like I said, real way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those guys show up the other people around them because they're just more authentic.
Do you think his career would have been different and he would have gone further if he got recognition earlier that he deserved?
Well, he was nominated for an Oscar the year before this for a movie called Alibi. So he had his moment. It just should have lasted longer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like I said, without being tied to one big studio through those years, he got lost in the shuffle, and then too many other people showed up, because that time they're looking for who's going to be the big thing. And with the talking era, everybody was being tried out to see
Mm-hmm.
who the public would sort of cotton to, and they did to him for a while. But the competition is fierce, and but I always like him. I always enjoy him. And he was in The Great White Hope in 1970, his last movie. So. And he did more Broadway as an older man, so he kind of never really went away. He just wasn't in the top tier.
Yeah, I think one of the great things about your book and the series is that we get to see people who would otherwise have been lost in the shuffle. And if they are really Oscar-worthy performances, we don't want to miss them.
And I'd like to shine a light on those people.
Yes.
For that very reason.
Thanks very much, John.
Thanks, Nick.